Yeah, I thought it would be fun just to share some of the things that we saw, that we saw that we liked, some things that we saw that maybe was different because it seems like every year we move further and further away from what Black Friday was. And for anybody who's under the age of 30, you don't remember what Black Friday was. Just to give you some historical context, what Black Friday was.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Business at Lunch. We are recording this on Cyber Monday, immediately after the Thanksgiving holiday here in the United States. Ryan, I know you had quite an adventure. I'll ask how you're doing cautiously.
Oh, I'm doing so great. So great. Love. I will tell you this. I think that Thanksgiving is the single most overrated holiday. I've always felt that way. But yeah, we can leave it at that. We can leave. How about you? How about you?
I feel like Columbus Day is the most over. Anyway, or maybe it's, I don't know. There's so many great holidays. I have this calendar that has all the holidays on it, like, to give you ideas of promotions and things to talk about and stuff. And some of them are just hilarious.
I mean, of like the major ones, like of the real ones that you do
of the
things
legit
with. I don't know.
holidays, right?
You're
Let's
like
see.
forced to hang out with people you don't normally want to hang out with, and all you do is kind of eat food, and then there's a lot to clean up, and then you're like, "Can we go now?" I don't know. It's just
Well,
not my thing.
today we know it's Cyber Monday, which of course is not a holiday in itself; it's an event. But I'll tell you what, I just checked, and today is National Mutt Day. National Mutt Day.
Oh,
Yeah. So for all of those illegitimately spawned pets that are out there, there you go. We celebrate and salute you. That said, speaking of Cyber Monday, you had a great idea, which was for us to just kind of bat back and forth Black Friday stuff since it just happened. Tell
yeah.
me what you saw and what you're thinking.
Yeah, I thought it would be fun just to share some of the things that we saw, that we saw that we liked, some things that we saw that maybe was different because it seems like every year we move further and further away from what Black Friday was. And for anybody who's under the age of 30, you don't remember what Black Friday was. Just to give you some historical context, what Black Friday was is, people would wake up early. I mean, you'd wake up at like 5 o'clock in the morning on Friday, the Friday after Thanksgiving, here in the States, and you'd stand in line out in front of the Walmart or the Kmart or the Sears or wherever would have the best deals, and so that you could be there right when they open those doors. And you were throwing elbows, you were punching people in the face so that you could get that flat screen TV or whatever
And
the
the good
hot
old days,
item
right?
was
The good old
at the
days.
best possible deal, and you could walk out with it just that killer bargain. Black Friday was what started off the Christmas, the holiday buying season, and this was the reason it's called Black Friday. This is when retailers got back into the black, got into profitability, and so that's where it all began. Was this retail in person shopping experience, and there would always be. It was fun to go and watch the news Friday evening because it was always just people punching other people so they could get like that laptop or that flat screen TV. I feel like we are now so far away from that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and this year in particular, what I noticed more than I've noticed any other year were companies rejecting the traditional Black Friday model. Companies overtly saying it's Black Friday and we're not doing a Black Friday sale,
Hmm.
and doing something completely different from Black Friday. Did you notice that at all, or was this just my inbox?
I did not, but I have. I noticed that across the board, both in the uh, email lists that I'm on and retail out there in general, that I see that the deals are not very good.
Yeah,
That generally across the board, the deals that used to be amazing are meh, like not much better than you could get any other time. Now, my wife did tell me yesterday, because I was telling her that, she said, "Oh no, the deals were good," and I did see a spike in the credit card over the weekend, a fairly
yeah.
significant spike. But she found all kinds of stuff when she was she was doing Christmas shopping for other people. And so two different stories there, but that's my experience and my son's experience, like across the things that I'm buying, like, typical guy stuff, from electronics and gadgets and games and, hardware-y kinds of things. I didn't really see anything, even computers and stuff. I didn't see anything that was like, man, that's amazing, gotta have it. She found that kind of stuff with home goods, like, glasses and, kitchen stuff and things around the house, some appliances, knives and things like that she was buying for our kids and, stuff. But yeah, that was our experience.
Yeah. So what we're seeing is, and this has been happening for a while, Black Friday getting stretched out further and further. So it's starting earlier, it's getting stretched out longer. The deals aren't as good because I kind of felt the same way. I mean, retailers were still doing the typical Black Friday type thing, um, but it seemed like the trend was non-retail companies, so a lot of B2B service-based companies, they had kind of gotten into the Black Friday game as well. This year, it seemed like more and more non-traditional retailers, they were specifically rejecting the Black Friday type game.
Hmm.
And what that told me is that maybe that wasn't as effective for them last year as perhaps it had been in the past. So perhaps retailers, it still, is as effective. But I know for some of our brands, I know, for example, with Epic, like, we opted to do more of an event based. Hey, we're not doing a Black Friday sale this year. Instead, we're going to be doing this free event. And I saw a lot of brands across the board that are in more the service based areas, in more B2B, do that this year.
Yeah, I think there's a couple things that drive that. I agree with you on that, and I saw feedback across several, mastermind groups that I'm part of and that we're part of people saying, meh, it wasn't very strong, not a lot of stuff happened. And I know a lot of those people are putting on discounts, but I think the thing is that people who own businesses realize that ultimately, if you discount your services, you're training people not to buy until those events when you discount your services. So I've always hated discounting. I like, here's some bonuses, or here's some extensions or enhancements or something like that. But I think it's just not a good business practice to teach people not to buy your stuff unless there's a big event, because you could lose all of August, September, and October with people waiting for this November event. And I think that did start to happen. And so that's also why I think you're seeing a move to Cyber November, where it's the whole month of November. We extended from Black Friday forward to Small Business Saturday to Cyber Monday, and then back to Thanksgiving sales, then pre-Thanksgiving sale. And now it's like we're starting a week early, and I saw some that started, at the end of October. And I thought that was a big deal, but I think that's part of it. It's just not good to make people wait.
Yeah, I saw, so somebody I know, I don't want to reveal who it was because I didn't get his permission, but he was posting all over. It's a brand that some people would know, but more of an influencer type brand. He was posting all of his social accounts. Um, I'm not doing a Black Friday sale this year. Instead, I'm just going to give away, this thing that's worked really well for me. If you want it, here it is. And in some cases, he was telling people to go to a page where they could download it. In some cases, he was saying, drop some keyword in there, and they were, responding to send it out. And I asked him, I hit him up. I was like, hey, how's that working for you? And he said he generated over 1,700 new leads from this campaign. And I asked him, what do you think that's going to result in terms of sales? And he said that should result in around $150,000 in revenue generated from those leads if they perform anywhere close to. And he had actually discounted what he would normally do. He's anticipating them to not perform as well as other leads were. He's just like, I don't know, maybe because they're coming in for a totally free thing during Black Friday. I'm assuming they're not going to perform as well, but typically in the past when he's done a quote unquote Black Friday sale, he might get 50,000. So even if it performs less well, triple what it would normally do, and he generated 1,700 new leads coming through and generated a tremendous amount of goodwill. And the point that he made, I asked him, I was like, why did you decide to do this? And he said, deals, his quote, and I thought this was really good. He said, deals are a red ocean. Giving something away totally for free is a blue ocean. And I just thought that was such a really, really, really good point. And I think, it kind of brought up this question in my mind. And I think that this is a good question for all business owners to ask. And I'm calling it the zigzag question. When is it appropriate to follow the herd? Like, there are times in business where you don't want to be creative at all. There are times in business where you're like, I should absolutely just do what everybody else is doing. And I think that those times are when you don't have a competitive advantage, or when the market is not going to value what you're doing, right? So doing something differently is not going to be valued by the market. But there are times when it makes sense to zig when everybody else is zagging, right? And I do think that it is important to ask, is this one of those times? And so that's a question now that I want to start asking more often. Like, when does it make sense to zig when everybody else is zagging? And obviously, for him, he felt like Black Friday was a good opportunity to zig when everybody else was zagging.